welcome to another episode of Roll or Die. Today we have for you, I think he may be the most tattooed man in Jiu-Jitsu. He is a black belt under Dennis Kelly. He's been on the MMA scene since it was in its infancy, and I know that our listeners are going to really enjoy listening to Thomas Ruderman. Thanks for joining us, Thomas.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Disappointed you're wearing
tattoos
that
under
long
the beard?
sleeve.
Any tattoos under the beard there, man, that we don't know about? Oh,
It comes to about here now.
oh amazing.
I normally shave like once a month and put the moustache back in.
Just so you can have a look, see if it's still there.
Exactly.
But yeah, you've got full sleeves and full everything, yeah?
I'm tattooed from my feet, legs, hands, feet, back, neck. Pretty much just my head and my face that's not done.
Well,
At what age did you start that? Has that been like a journey from the beginning of your adulthood?
So I didn't get tattooed till I was 18 because otherwise my mum would have got quite upset about that. She did anyway, but I thought I'd better do it legally.
Yeah.
And then I got quite a lot done in a short period of time. But back home, I have got friends that own tattoo shops. So when you go and see your mates and say, "Hey, I've got this really cool idea," they're like, "That sounds great. Should we do it?" And then you're like, "Okay." But I used to work part time in a tattoo shop on the weekends when I was at university.
So they would just practice on you, sort of thing, or you put yourself out there as being the canvas?
Oh well, yeah, not even really. It's just like when there's got big wait lists and people do it, and you start chatting to them whilst they're there. They go, "Oh yeah, we'll do it when we close the shop." So instead of booking in, you get your tattoos done from when the shop closed, and then you go and get a couple of pints in the pub, and you'd be your mates hanging out, and you get tattooed. So.
Yeah. Well, at the danger of like taking the show and making it all about tattoos, I've got a question as well. Because like I don't have a single tat. I've never had a piercing. And like so I don't know, but I've definitely I've had a drinking problem or a jiu-jitsu problem, or like I get addicted to things. You know what I mean? Is tattooing likenable to that sort of addiction? Like is there a gateway drug? Is there a gateway thing to tattooing? Like you start drawing in ink on your hands in class, and the next thing you know, you've got a mate. And or you're interested in someone, and then so they're like, "Hey, why don't you try this tattooing thing?" And you want to show off, so you get one, and then next thing you know, you're just covered in ink. Or how does it work?
Well, for me, I was really into like punk music, metal music, all that kind of scene. And once you get one big tattoo, for me anyway, I felt uneven having one big one on that arm, so I had to get one big one on that arm. And then when you filled your arms up, you do your front, because you can see your front and you can't see your back. But then when you filled your front up, you want to get another one. You might as well get your back done. Now you've done your front, and then you do a bit on your leg. So then you do your other leg.
So it's a giant case of might as well. It's like, well, I've done this, so now I might as well do this. And now I've done this, so I might as well do this.
I'm quite glad I did it when I was younger though, because I haven't really been tattooed for a number of years now. And I got a really small one done on my leg not that long ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's so painful. And the guy next to me was like, "Are you serious, mate?" And I was like, "It is much longer." And he's like, we've only been going for 25 minutes. And I was
Fair enough.
There you go, listeners. Your pain tolerance must go up as you get older, by the sound of it.
Apparently what they were saying to me was, and they said they find that a lot of guys that are physically fit and in good shape will find a tattoo a lot more painful because of their body. So when I was young and just out drinking and having fun, this didn't hurt. But now I'm in shape, it's terrible.
So what's the moral of that story? Don't be fit.
Just get tattooed when you're drinking.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Thomas, you've got a bit of an accent, and you mentioned about back home. So you've come over from the UK. What brought you to Australia? Tell us how you arrived here.
Before that, in 1998, I actually moved to America, and I lived in Boston for about 2.5 years. And I did my high school out in America when I was 16 to 18. So then when I went back home again, I took a year out, and then I did a degree. and did my university course. And then once I'd finished that, I was kind of not really doing much, so to speak. I was just working with a friend and we were doing some construction stuff. And my sister lives in Melbourne. So she said, why don't you come out and see us? You know, there's heaps of job opportunities out here. There's loads of stuff going on. I bet you'd love it. So in 2008, I came over on a working holiday visa. And probably about 6 or 7 months after that, I got a job, and then they offered to sponsor me. And then I got permanent residency. And then I met the love of my life, and then the rest is history, as they say. So I stayed here.
That's great, man. Good story. And does she do jiu-jitsu or he? I'm not sure. Sorry, it's a modern world. Do they do
No,
jiu-jitsu?
she does not do jiu-jitsu. No.
Okay, cool. Okay.
She does Pilates and yoga and that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah, cool.
I think the thought of rolling around with big sweaty men doesn't really do it for her these days.
Just one, and that's you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And did you discover jiu-jitsu back home, or was it not until you came to Australia that you started?
I didn't start training jiu-jitsu until I came to Australia.
Yeah.
So me and my mates used to watch the UFC VHSs in his basement when I lived in America in like it would have been 98, 99. We had the cassettes and we used to watch it, and then we used to have like, dare I say it, like Fight Club on a Friday night almost in these big barn that we'd all fight each other. It was pretty bad actually. I think
Lots of alcohol involved, as I recall, or at least for me.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But a lot of my friends in America, they were all wrestlers at high school. But I never wrestled. I just used to train with them sometimes, and some of those guys went on to be like NCAA Division I wrestlers and stuff. So
Awesome.
and a lot of those guys I still talk to, and they've all recently, actually, quite a few of them have all started training jiu-jitsu. One of them's a purple belt now. Another guy's a white belt, but he would be an absolute nightmare because he's about 120 kilos, 6'4", solid muscle wrestler. Imagine that, white belt. You'd be like, oh yeah, great.
Yeah. I imagine that like that would be a natural progression. Like if you do wrestling, I did a wrestling class today, actually, for the first time in a while. It was awesome. But the thing that occurs to me is like you get very good at a certain set of stuff with wrestling, but it's not like a limitless well or a mountain with no top kind of thing. It's like you can get better and better in minute increments. Whereas with jiu-jitsu, you can go down this path and that path, and like literally, like I'm going to devote my next belt just to the leg game because why not? You know, that's what feels like a good thing to do. But you know, like I could just as easily go, okay, I'm going to devote it to the back or something else. Whereas with wrestling, it's like whizzes, it's sprawls, it's like unbelievable technique, but it's not a lifelong fulfillment kind of journey, I don't think. So it seems like if you were wrestling, yeah, at some point you'd want to go, well, now I want to start submitting people as well, you know? So I could imagine that a lot of them would go down that path.
Wrestling, specific wrestling training on its own is intense though, isn't it?
Oh, it's so intense.
It's way harder than a jiu-jitsu class.
Yeah. It really is.
But, I remember I used to train with Talga at Dominance.
Yeah, right.
I used to do a couple of his classes a week.
And
the guy would do like head forward flips the length of the mat and walk on his hands and be like, okay guys, let's go. And you'd be like, what?
But do like 100 reps of that, not just do a couple.
Yeah.
Do it till you drop.
But Thomas, you're in the middle of telling us how you started jiu-jitsu before we sidetracked onto wrestling. So you said that you were
so
watching a lot of
when I first moved here, I said to myself, right, I'm going to start training. And I specifically wanted to start training for MMA because I wanted to have an MMA fight. So I moved to Richmond and I did probably a year of jiu-jitsu at Dominance with Cam and Dave.
Awesome guys.
And at that time, I was living in a house with a guy who was like a software. He used to write the bank. I think he used to write software for Westpac and ANZ and those kind of guys. And he said to me, "Oh, my mate that I work with, he's got like messed up is he fights MMA. He's going to start teaching. And then we turned the TV on, and it was what was that fight show they had in Sydney at Luna Park? Cage.
Not sure. When's this? When are you talking? Like the 9th?
2008, 2009.
Oh,
The original Cage show. I can't remember what it's called. Cage.
I can't remember.
Oh man, it's going to really upset me.
With Hector Lombard and all those guys.
Yes.
Yeah, what was that called? I'm looking it up. While you talk on.
Cage War. Anyway, so I turned the TV on, and there he was fighting Adrian Pang. So that was Dennis. That was Dennis Kelly.
Yeah.
So we went to the pub with my mate, and Dennis met us for a drink, and I said, I'd love to come start training MMA. And he said, yeah, come down. So we used to train, originally we trained just MMA. So it was just MMA, and Dennis would do wrestling, jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, and put it all into one, and we'd do an hour and a half of training at then we were based at North Melbourne Boxing Club. And then during that, I was still training jiu-jitsu with Cam and Dave at Dominance for a little bit. Then I actually moved to the other side of town, away from Richmond, and then I started training with Dennis full time. But from there, we moved to CrossFit in Fitzroy. So we'd have to, I love telling all the young guys at the gym, I'm like, yeah, you don't know how good you've got it with these mats all down on the floor, and it all padded. We used to put jigsaw mats out. Yeah. Have to clean them up at the end of class and restack them. Yeah. So we do a lot of, it was all no-gi, all jiu-jitsu specific for MMA. And then Dennis and Phil opened up their Nemesis MMA in Fairfield, where we had the one factory. And that was when I said, hey, we should start doing some gi jiu-jitsu. And Dennis was like, do you think people would want to do it? And then me and him and maybe a couple other guys used to, Friday nights, we'd roll in the gi, and then he started doing the gi classes, and now he's got an 800 square meter gym with 250 members, and
but he still makes
full programs for jiu-jitsu and everything. Yeah, still beats me up. So doesn't matter what clothes you're wearing, you're still going to get beaten up.
That's awesome. Really interesting that you recommended to MMA people to train in the gi, because sometimes people that train MMA are a bit against the gi. What do you think?
I love training in the gi.
Yeah,
I think if you don't train, for me, it's better nowadays because I'm an old man and I can slow it down. But I think if you're training jiu-jitsu, you should be able to do gi, no gi, whatever it is. You shouldn't be like, I just do gi, or I'm just a no gi guy. But you should understand the fact that if you hold here with your hand out, you're going to get caught with something whether you're wearing a gi or not.
Yeah. Absolutely. We had a guest on the other day. I think it was Paulo Guimaraes, and he was saying jiu-jitsu is jiu-jitsu. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. You could be wearing a cape and swimming flippers and a G-string, and it's still jiu-jitsu. It's still an armbar.
I find a lot of the guys at the gym that come and do the beginners jiu-jitsu, where they're just coming once, twice a week in the gi, and then they start coming to the no-gi. They're like, oh, it's the same. I thought it'd be a lot more difficult. And you're like, well, why would it be more difficult? Because you've got nothing to hold on to. Well, you do. You've got wrists and ankles and arms and heads and necks.
Yeah.
You're just not going to gas your hands out and end up with twiglet fingers in a short space of time because you're gripping on someone's gi for dear
we call
life.
them Kim fingers around here. We call them Kim fingers.
Mine, what can I say?
You probably got the same, man. We just can't see them because of your tats, man. We can't.
Not too bad.
Actually, just going back a step, I think it was the Australian Fighting Championship and the Cage Fighting Championship around that era. AFC
it was Cage Fighting Championships. CFC.
Right. The CFC. Yeah. Cool.
And
all right.
So tell us how you got into MMA then from there.
So from MMA to there, I probably would have trained with Dennis for maybe 6 months. And then I had an amateur fight and I won in about 45 seconds, I think. My friend was really upset because he spent ages racking my hands up. Didn't even throw a punch. I don't think. And then we just kept training and I just kept trying to get more and more fights. probably did, I don't know, maybe not that many amateur fights really. And then I took a pro fight, as they will. I guess everyone's definition of a professional fight is different these days, but me it would be, see, there you go, 3 wins, 3 losses.
Road Rage. I love
Thomas.
this. I love this fight name, Road Rage.
How
Well,
did
that's
you get
Dennis
that?
Well, Dennis got in the car with me.
3 wins, 3 losses. Wow, so I was like a fit.
So
You every time you were going to go out, you had a 50-50 chance of winning, brother. I love it, man. That's great.
So I took that last fight against Martin Nguyen, and I thought, nah, he doesn't look that good. I've seen some of his videos. I'll win that. And I cut weight to 65 kilos, and he was too much. But he went on. He's in ONE FC now. He's multiple weight champion in ONE FC. I think he went on a 15-fight win streak.
Wow.
That fight against Rusty McBride, that wasn't a rear naked choke. That was a bulldog choke.
Oh wow!
Because I remember he had me in a headlock, and I was like, "What are you doing, mate?" And he squeezed it so hard that I went unconscious.
Amazing! You would have been feeling king of the hill though after like 4 fights in.
Yeah,
and you're like,
well, Damian Brown as well. Obviously, he was in the UFC.
Yeah.
He had a stint in the UFC as well. So I kind of pride myself on, look, guys, I only lost to good people, okay, before I got too injured to fight anymore.
What is it like? Like, that is fascinating. Like they talk a lot about it, like in the UFC now, just like, you know, the young guys that come in and they're fresh, and they don't have the injuries yet. They have a better chin for taking the punches and everything else. Like, what does it feel like once you've had a bunch of fights? Like, what toll does it take on the body, so to speak? And, you know, is it noticeable?
So I didn't start fighting, I suppose, till a bit later on than most people would these days. So I would have been, I don't know, what, mid-20s, late 20s. But I already had, I'd already snapped my leg doing something else and had got plates in it. My shoulders were already not too great as it was. They are absolutely terrible now. But most of my injuries have pretty much come around from training, though. I mean, apart from that last fight against Martin Nguyen, I think I had about 25 stitches in my face. But other than that, I haven't. Yeah, it was quite bloody, that one.
Cool.
Other than that, I haven't really been too badly injured in a fight, other than sort of bruised and banged up a bit and feeling a bit sorry for yourself. But I mean, I broke my hand really bad on the top of one of my training partner's heads once, and it ended up with my hand being pinned up through my thumb, through the back here, and my thumb was in about 15 pieces.
Wow, shit.
Yeah, so that was a long way back. And then I was training with another guy, and I picked him up to sort of slam him, and he grabbed the cage and sat on my leg, and my leg was already straight, so that snapped my ACL. And it also tore my PCL, MCL, LCL, and fractured my tibia.
Wow.
That's a pretty good one. And then another one I've had is when I had my hand on the mat like this, and someone knelt on it, and it snapped the end of my finger off. So I had to get a pin put on that to put it back in again.
Most of these were in training, not...
Pretty much all of them, yeah. Not fighting. So when I've had, as I said, the worst injuries I've had in a fight would have been stitches in my face, which this stitches in your face, whatever, like, you know. Yeah. It's gonna fix it. It's the ones where you break stuff. I seem to have done it in training, which is unfortunate, really.
Any surgeries or no?
I've had heaps.
Yeah, what have you had?
I broke my neck. I've got a C6, C7. I've got an artificial disc in my neck.
Awesome.
The disc in my neck exploded.
Training.
So I had
How did that happen?
I don't know. It must have been training. I kind of had a bit of a, you're like, oh, my neck's a bit stiff, and then you're like, oh, it's really stiff, and then I was like, oh, my hand's gone numb. And then within I reckon a week, my arm had like got a heap smaller than it was.
Wow.
And I was
Oh,
like, that's not right. So I went and got a scan done, and then they referred me straight away. And then the guy was like, yeah, you need to have surgery. So
wow.
they
Wow.
they actually cut through the front of my neck, and the guy's done such a tight. You can hardly even see the scar. It's like a thin white line.
Yeah.
But
Amazing.
within 4 hours, I think I was up, turning my head, walking around, and within,
Wow.
I reckon, 2 months, I was back doing some light training.
Wow.
Amazing.
Jeez.
I never
And
got my ACL fixed. I still don't have an ACL. I just did heaps of weights instead.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing how the body can compensate, isn't it? Really, it's
yeah.
Mm.
something special. I'm reading David Goggins' book at the moment. Well, I don't know, I
Can't
can't
hurt
remember what
me.
it's called. No, the one after that. And it's just like that guy's body is just a remarkable system of compensation. Like, yeah, it blows me away. It just leaves me in wonderment. It's like I could push myself so much harder if I use him as my benchmark. Like I'm a pussy. I'm a complete pussy.
Mm.
That's
And
what
so,
tape and Panadol's for, isn't it?
Exactly. And it's like it's all in
well,
here. It's all in here. And I had to create an alter ego for myself. I realized if there's fight, fright, and flight, fight, flight, and freeze. Like I definitely flight and freeze. Fighting is not Anton. Like I've had to create an alter ego for myself that fights because, yeah, that's not what Anton does. Sadly, I'm in the wrong game.
mm. And Thomas, what about now then?
Mm.
So do you still take that same attitude with training, or are you
I don't
a
get to
little bit
train as
out of
much
the
as I
locker?
used to. So back then, I was training 6 days a week, 6 days a week, twice a day. Like we were running, striking, jiu-jitsu a lot, everything, sparring. Now I'm like Monday, Tuesday, Friday is my jiu-jitsu days, and that's, if I get that in, that's great.
Mm.
And normally it's a double on a Monday. So I get gi and no gi on a Monday, no gi on a Tuesday, and then a gi on a Friday. So it's kind of two of each, and anything else in
Yep.
between is a bonus
Bonus.
for me.
Yeah.
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 You
I,
loving
I
it?
live quite. Sorry.
Are you loving it when you do get your
Yeah,
training as much as
I
ever?
do. It's good because I'm highly stressed at the minute with two small children, busy work, and all that. And it's quite the cliche of, oh, you don't think of anything else, but you don't. You do just roll and have a good time, and you feel, because I live maybe 100 k's away from the gym now.
Wow.
Oh,
So
really?
That's
yeah,
So
so
you're still going back to,
well, yeah, I've been training with Dennis for 15 years, so can't do it. He's one of my best friends and my coach, and it's like switching barbers. If I haven't left the barber shop, you just sit in the chair
yeah,
and the other guy starts looking at you. It's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, but
But
couldn't you get rounds in somewhere else as well, or you don't do that? You don't believe in that?
I can,
cross train?
and I think I will. I dropped into Peninsula MMA the other week and had a chat with Jerome, and he seems like a real cool dude. So that's like 15 minutes from my house. So I
Yeah,
might see if I could drop in there and get some rounds in.
yeah.
But they look like they're quite young and active. So
Well, I think you'll be
Yeah.
having your bones snapped around in weird training accidents in no time, brother.
Yeah.
exactly.
And tell us about your modeling gig that you got in Tokyo. I've dug up some dirt on you. I like to do
So
that with our guests.
yeah, that's pretty funny actually. So me and do you know Jugs, Justin
Yes,
D from Full
Yeah.
Bar
we've had him
Jiu-Jitsu?
on the podcast as well. He's the one that
Okay,
gave me the
so
dirt, actually. So yeah.
we're pretty good mates, and we went on holiday together for a training trip to Japan. So we went to like AACC, Paestra Gym, Reversal Gym. We went to Grabaka Gym. And then Abayani, our friend who owns AACC, he said, Jugsu-san, Thomas-san, come to Kara Uno's party tonight, 100 Athletic. So we're like, sweet, all right, sounds great. So we go down there, and Kara Uno's there with his crew and everything, and we're talking to him and his mom and everything. And then jokingly, I say, God, you know who'd look good in this gear? A big strapping English lad with a beard covered in tattoos. And he kind of looked at me, and then the other guy translated to him, and he's like, oh. And then I'm like, what? And then he's like, then he said something to his mate in Japanese. And his mate says, are you free on Friday morning to do some photographs? And we were like, what? And then Jugs is like, stay cool, bruv. Just stay cool. Keep the face, keep it cool. And I'm like, yeah, I think I could be available for that. That's not a problem. Yeah. So come Friday morning, Kara Uno, a professional photographer, and one of his brand guys turns up at the hotel where we're staying, and they must think we're like some famous people. And they've got this big box of clothes. And then me and another guy from, do you know Jesse Yada from CMBT Gym up on Gold Coast?
No.
Me and him ended up putting all the clothes on, having all these pictures taken of us. And then the next thing you know, there's like 6-foot posters of me in Yokohama with my shirt off and my hands out wearing like 100 athletic hats and stuff.
Wow.
People are sending me all these photographs.
Wow. Did you do a good job?
Awesome.
Like, were you happy with your performance, or were you like a fish out of water?
No, it was actually, it was quite, because I was like, felt really sort of, but after like 5 or 10 minutes of just doing the same thing over again, you kind of relax into it, and then you just, it was fun. It was quite funny, to be honest. And then he gave us, like a heap of gear for free for doing it for him.
Awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Awesome.
That's
Another
brilliant.
thing Jugs told me is that you have an amazing sense of fashion. That you and he reckons are the best looking guys in jiu-jitsu, hands down. Would you agree with that?
Well, I wouldn't argue with it. No.
He's wearing Carhartt.
Yeah.
Actually, Carhartt's a pretty cool brand. Like, as far as, you know, brands go.
I'm in my workwear at the minute. Yeah, it's my Carhartt workwear because I'm actually at work. I've just finished work. I'm in the factory.
Okay, I thought you were in jail, but okay, that's good. You're in the factory. I was going to ask.
Jugs loves it because he used to come down and get his hair cut at Uncle Rocco's with me, and we'd have the pomade in it, and you know, the Japanese selvage denim jeans, and the red wing boots, and all the gear and no idea, as they say.
Awesome, man. What do you actually do for work? How does a man held together by load-bearing pins and metal rods and shit? What do you do for a living? How do you fund all of these surgeries?
I'm a mechanical engineer, but I work as a project manager for a facade company. So we do tier 1 and infrastructure works. So I'm doing all the level crossing removals at the minute.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I just did Preston Station. You know, have you seen Preston Station with those big colourful triangles? Yeah, that was me.
Absolutely. Oh, man, you don't want to be in the wrong place. If you're prone to injuries, you don't want to be in the wrong place at the wrong time with one of those sites, man. It will be much worse.
Mate, I'm on a laptop. I'm all right. I just tell people what to do. I don't do it. do as I say, not as I do.
Oh, man, that's so good. But what's next for you? Like, what's the next? I mean, obviously, someone who takes on MMA is some sort of junkie for the challenge. You know, what is the next challenge in your life?
Well, I've been getting into mountain biking a bit lately. So I did some race thing in Bright not long ago, but I've been enjoying that quite a lot. But other than that, I think I might try and start competing again a little bit in jiu-jitsu because I haven't really competed. Yeah, I did the Australian Nationals last year. And actually injured myself. Dropped the guy on my leg actually, which really hurt. But I want to win something at black belt because I've only done one competition at black belt, and I've been a black belt for nearly 4 years now, and I should really probably give it a crack before I completely fall apart, I reckon.
Yeah, one of the things which we've had multiple guests tell us is that, like, black belt is the one belt where you have this like almost unlimited range of different level versus purple belt or, you know, blue belt. Or you could be, So it's an awesome place to test yourself, isn't it? To see what you're coming up against. You could get a seasoned veteran who's been a black belt for 20 years or something ridiculous and trains every day, or someone who's just got their black belt, and there'll be a massive difference. So
I think I'm right on the right in those weight divisions as well. Do I diet and lose a bit of weight, or do I just get a bit heavier? I think I might go on the other one, just get a bit heavier.
It's a
the last one.
The
last one I did, I think I had to move up 2 divisions because there was no one in it.
Yeah.
So I ended up in the under 100.5 K.
Right. And did you cut weight only to find that you got put up? Because that really sucks.
Because I was like I think I was in the whatever they are, the one below it's like 94, isn't it? And then you got like 88 or something. Yeah, there was like no one in it, and I was like, oh well, might as well just go for it. Who cares?
Yeah.
But then that guy landed on your leg, so that's what you don't want. The super heavyweight on your leg.
Correct. Like you got no ACL in
there.
You've got a young family now. You've got two children. How old are your kids?
7 and 4.
Oh, okay, so pretty busy home life for you.
Yeah.
Are they into the
I've been trying to get them into jiu-jitsu. No, well, Agatha used to train jiu-jitsu at with Dennis and Phil, but we moved obviously, and I'm not going to drive 100 kilometers for a 25-minute class. So.
Peninsula MMA, they have a good kids club, mate. When Peninsula MMA send their kids down, they do well. I've seen a lot.
Yeah, so he doesn't start doing them until they're 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so that makes sense.
Not many people in around tend to do jiu-jitsu for kids before the age of 8.
Yeah, it's chaos. I mean, jiu-jitsu is chaos anyway.
I've seen it. It looks like Daddy Daycare of that movie, but
but I still think
Dramana BJJ do a younger kids class, but she used to really enjoy it, but she's kind of more into acrobats and that kind of stuff at the minute. So I just leave her doing that, and he's always at it because I'm always wrestling with him. So, but he's like, I don't understand how you can hold me down with one hand, and I'm like, mate, I'm 95 kilos and I can do it to full-grown men. I can do it to a 4-year-old.
I love though that he wants to know about technique. Like he thinks it's technique, and how awesome is that? He's like, show me the magical technique which allows me to deal with a 90-kilo man as a 4-year-old.
Well, I actually watched him wrestling with his sister in the back garden the other week, and he did like a almost perfectly executed double leg takedown on her, and I was like, guys, stop fighting.
Yes. It's the same for me with my boys.
Yeah. I used to fight my kids against each other, but then one of my family members requested that I stop doing it. I didn't stop doing it. But I used to just love, having them match up. There was, a 2-year age difference, but they went to little war, and it was so much fun, and it was, they had a great time. Like
only other jiu-jitsu people understand that, Anton. I think non-jiu-jitsu people won't understand that attitude of us coaching our kids against each other.
Anytime my wife tries to like wrestle me or anything, and I do, she goes, "Oh, I could take you." And then she's like, after about 10 seconds, she's like, "All right, get off me now. Get off."
This is not fun anymore.
I told you.
My partner's the same as well. He often thinks that too, but he can't.
There's a massive size difference there. Oh my Lord.
Yeah, but still, Also, I've been doing it a lot longer, more than 10 years longer than him. We're nearly out of time, Thomas. Do you have any final words, any parting thoughts? Unless you had any other questions, Anton, or?
No, I think we've got the world of you, Thomas Ruderman, and you are a great character, my friend. You are just.
We'll have to train sometime.
Oh yes, please, man. I'm going to try not to, I don't know, have your arm come off or something like that. I don't really.
I'll be all right. I'll wear 2 gi jackets. I'll be fine.
Okay, cool. It won't be. I won't win. You'll destroy me, but in the process, something will happen to you. I'm sure of that. So.
But by then you will be 100 kilos. If you're wearing 2 gis, then you will be well above the weight limit.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
Awesome.
Send me a message. We'll sort something out. I'll come to you.
Yes, please. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And actually, Thomas, you are our only guest who has booked yourself in on this podcast. Thank you so much.
Hi,
Project manager.
A few weeks. We've been trying to make this happen for several weeks, and Anton has a Calendly link that he's always saying, just send this to the guests. And I say, I can't just send this to the guests, but I did with Thomas, and he found a time and he made this happen. So
awesome.
It was really perfect, because otherwise you're like, that's like my friend who bought a boat, and I'll keep saying to him, take me out on your boat. And he goes, no, you tell me when you're free and I'll take you out. And I was like, all right, done.
I'm glad
we Calendly system for his boat. That's what he knows. Yeah, you can book it in. Yeah. Awesome to meet you, Thomas. You're a rock star, man. Thanks so much for coming on. Any final words for listeners?
keep training, train hard, because you've always got to keep your wits about you, because the youngsters are coming for you.
Woohoo! Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome, brother.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much.
See
Well,
you
yeah, if you
later.
do
Cheers.
come back competing, we'll see you on the mats there, or yeah,
Lovely.
we'll
Look
tee up
forward
and
to it.
train together. Thanks
Cheers.
All
again.
right, nice one.
Peace out,
See you
everybody.
later.
See
Bye.
ya.
Bye.
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 Bye.